Them niggas scared to make that move, we can't relate to that. I roll the dice, shit, if I lose, I'm gon' be shaking back. Cause lessons learned within the loss just elevate the fact that trial and error just the only way, ain't no escaping that. I wake up, hit 100 push-ups, then I'm at my route. Check on my stocks, see how they looking, then I'm sliding out. When you start seeing your progression, you stop having doubts. And what's the point of having clout if you can't cash it out? True to this game, and I'm a lifer, ayy. Feel like we finna change the cycle, ayy. That's the most success, you know we thriving, ayy. That's the most depression for our rivals, ayy. Could teach a lesson on survival, ayy. You know I'm from the bottom.
What's good, wealthy people? It's your boy David Bellard, quarter of the Black Wealth Renaissance Podcast. Here live in Dallas, season 4 of the Black Wealth Renaissance Podcast. Y'all already know we coming with some pressure on the way. I'm here with my brother, Jalen Clark. Jalen, how you living, dog?
What up, y'all? It's your boy, Jalen, man. Another part of the Black Wealth Renaissance Podcast. Feeling good, feeling great, looking great. So I am doing amazing, but it's hot as shit in Dallas, so I'm good, though, man.
You
how
always
you doing,
hot, man. You gotta just enjoy it while it's here, man. I'm loving Dallas. You already know. Man, I've been having a good time. Got my next deployment starting, coming up soon.
Let's go. Turn up.
Man, we just stack something. We gonna keep stacking. You already know how he comes.
Yes, sir.
But y'all ain't come here for all that, man.
Nah.
Y'all know, like we said,
let's get into it.
Going hard. On this episode, we have
every episode
an amazing
turn
guest.
It up.
A legend in his own right.
Gangsta Grillz, you bastards.
Well, if you ever heard that drop, you know exactly who we talking
and
about.
I ain't talking about DJ Drama right now.
Nah.
I'm talking about when you hear that cannon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got a legend in his own right, as I said. Started off in the DJ circuit. Turned up, went to the music producer, executive realm. Now he's a label owner with his own app. We have on this episode with us none other than Mr. Don Cannon.
Thank you for coming on to the Black Wealth Renaissance Podcast.
Appreciate you
no problem.
Out, Don.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir, man. So, Don, definitely want to say thank you for coming out to the show and joining us today. And we want to kick this thing off how we kick everything off, man. We just want to get into your journey. Like, I know we gave introduction, like I experienced from you, but like, in your words, can you tell us who Don Cannon is?
Oh man, you said it was a legend. I just fit the description. You know what I mean? I'm not really a legend in my own mind, but you know, I started off with a good journey, man. You know, I have a different outlook on. You know, most people pick up music and producing and, you know, certain things in their later years. I'm one of those guys that was born into it. You know what I mean? I got my first turntable when I was 3 years old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
5 years old, I was already DJing. And just watching my uncle, Keith Boyd, he taught me some stuff. I was already into it, you know. And 11, 12, I was rapping and making beats already. You know, I always tell people this. I always wanted to be the Shaq. You know what I mean? I wanted to play ball and
make some
music. But,
yeah.
you know, ball ain't panned out. But, you know, that's where I was at with it. You know, I always wanted to be this guy. You know, it carried all the way through Atlanta. Like, I didn't even know going to Atlanta to school was going to be so instrumental in my career in music. I just didn't know. I just thought I was going to school, you know what I mean? You just live a dream, and you come from a city of Philadelphia, you know, a lot of things, you know, it makes it hard to believe you can accomplish, you know what I mean? When you're going to school, you're going to high school, and they tell you you might end up in jail or you might not be, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's discouraging because, you know, you think that's your life. You see that all around you, then when you're leaving high school for graduation, they tell you that. So, you know,
don't come back. You're going to end up like them.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know, and then, you know, just being in the city and being able to travel Atlanta, I just didn't know what was in store. And when I got there, it was a great opportunity for me to really dig into my goals and get where I think I was going to be.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So, I'm going to get into it. So, you went down to Atlanta, moved from Philly. What was your first start? You started DJing in Atlanta? So talk through that song.
Did you DJ your way through like college to make some bread and stuff like that?
Yeah, so when I came down my freshman year, I had a setup in my dorm room, and we had a basketball court right outside. It was Brawley Hall was the name of our dorm.
Where'd you go to school at?
Clark Atlanta. Clark Atlanta AUC Center, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
But yeah, we had a basketball court right outside our dorm room, and everybody, anytime I couldn't play basketball, I would DJ for, you know, so we'll have teams. If my team lost, I'd go to the room, play music. I'd put the speaker in the window, and I'd play it, you know, out the window while people jamming. The girls would come outside. I forget maybe Holmes Hall. I forget the name of it. Everybody come outside. You know, we had certain kids from the projects. They'd come over and play basketball. So I had the soundtrack, And I used to do all that, you know, at nighttime I'd make beats. You know, if I got called for the next basketball game, I'd go back out and play. But I'd still have the music running. But, you know, that was my start. Then that moved to like the cafeteria, which, you know, was different because I'd never seen that in no other historical black college where I went to, like, you know, Howard and all this. They didn't have that cafeteria where the DJ was set up. You know
really?
what I mean?
Yeah, that's all it.
Yeah. I was responsible. Y'all get new information, but I was responsible for a lot of the food fights too. And then, I was playing like tear the club up and like all that in the cafeteria, and it'd just be a food fight. You know what I mean? It might be the football team versus, you know, Brawley Hall versus the basketball team, whatever. But I was responsible for them. You know, and that traveled. We had something called the student center, and upstairs was like almost like a room where they had banquets and stuff at, and I started DJing parties up there. Now, as I got good, that traveled to something we call Pascal's. It had a downstairs kind of like little banquet center. I was DJing under there. I DJ'd on a promenade, which was like a long brick strip that connected all the schools. So like, you know, on Thursdays and some on Fridays was at Spelman. That would be just open. We'd go to class, but that whole day people be up and down the strip, buying clothes, you know, all the people out there just trying to make money. I was out there DJing for the whole day.
And that helped you establish your name in the city.
Yeah, it helped me establish because all the promoters around the city wanted to come see the young talent, so they would come out there. A couple promoters came and picked us up. I started going to the clubs. Started out like a club called Karma, which was a good underground club. And you had what was it? I forget the name of the clubs, but the Chili Pepper. Yeah. All those joints in Buckhead, you know, is part of Atlanta. I used to go in there and DJ, and then that, you know, I started doing these joints called it's funny, Louisiana Texas party. So it was a Louisiana Texas versus New York. You know what I mean? So that was like the most popular party when I was in school. You know what I mean? And I did kind of like the New York because, you know, when you're down south, a lot of the times everything up north to them is New York. So like I was from Philly, and I used to be walking around Atlanta. They used to be like, "What up, New York?" I'd be like, "Man, I'm from Philly. Why y'all keep calling me New York?" But I understood. You know what I mean? It was just an up north thing. Yeah. So we had this Louisiana Texas party, and all through college, I was the DJ for New York, and Paul was the DJ for Louisiana, Texas.
Really?
Yeah. So we built a relationship all the way since then, and you know, he was one of the first couple people I seen selling his tapes out of trunks when he was going out there just trying to make some extra money. But that was like the Louisiana, Texas, you know what I mean? They called it latex. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that was the party that we used to do out there in college.
Going on after that?
It was called Studio Central, I think the name of the spot. But yeah, that's where I got my real name at. And then I started getting in, you know, early 1920, I started doing Puffs parties, Shack parties, all that stuff. Vision. Yeah, I started going crazy.
So how were you like networking and taking advantage of those opportunities to get into those areas, the puff parties and the shack parties and everything like that?
I know a lot of people don't want to do this, but I started off doing everything for free. You know what I mean? Because I wanted people to see how talented I was. So a lot of the stuff just came free. It was just something I love to do anyway. You know what I mean? So I was like, am I going to say I don't want the money and not do it and not get the experience, or am I going to do it for free, get the experience? And people are like, yo, maybe that guy may not pay me because I did it for free. He's always going to wait that, but the next guy is going to want to, you know what I mean? So I started out doing that, and I was killing the club scene. I was the youngest, you know, a lot of the DJs were maybe 5-6 years older than me, and they was just running the streets for real. But me being the youngest in charge at that time, like, that was the go-to. So I made my name, and the network got stronger, you know what I mean?
I feel you. So you took advantage of those opportunities. Like you said, most people don't want to work for free. It's not, you look at it as like a bad thing always, but you took advantage of those opportunities and leveraged it to get paying gigs. So I kind of want to talk more about like transitioning it into a business now. Like, so you went from just being a DJ, kind of like a prodigy at it, to turning this into a business. When did you like realize that the music business was a business that you were gonna like work in?
I really didn't understand the business. Again, I always tell people that we never had an OG, like, you know, some of the guys that we look up to, like Russell Simmons and Kevin Lawson. nobody really came and put their arm around us like, hey, I see what y'all doing. I'm gonna show y'all how to really do this business. I was just doing what I thought was the right thing. Everything came like almost natural. It sounds crazy, but you know, when I started DJing and stuff, I was like, man, I need a business card. My first business card was to make a CD for everybody to listen to with my mixes on it. So that's what I was doing, and I had my number. I had a SkyTel pager. I put the SkyTel pager on the number on the back, and I was like, yo, how can I brand myself? You know, I had to make a logo. I had to make a drop or whatever just to brand myself because the competition was real. You know what I mean? And when I was coming up, Atlanta, Big Oomp Camp, they had the city on smash. You know what I mean? And Big Oomp had, you know, Monte. They had, you know, a lot of DJs, DJ Jelly, and these guys was already making CDs out there. So you know, we had to make something that was separate, you know, to build my brand. And I just watched them. I watched them guys just really like captivate the streets, like Jelly, Edward J, like Monte, all the artists. Big Oomp was really instrumental in the city, and I was like, man, how could we, you know, we come into somebody else's backyard and trying to live, you know what I'm saying? How can we add instead of steal? So we just started adding to it, and then, you know, after a while, people took to the brand. Like I said, when I was 19, 20, like who knows at that age with no social media, no YouTube to look at, how to make a logo, you know what I mean? How to do these things, you know, how to make a cover, cover art, like, you know what I mean? So it was just something I was just doing. It was something like I was.
So you done all of it yourself?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I had a logo. I had.
Were you a business major?
I was business management. Business management. Yeah. So, I look back at it as 9, 10 years old. Nobody taught me how to make beats. I was just doing it. You know what I'm saying? I just figured out like, how did I record a demo? Like, where did that come from in my brain? There was really nothing to watch to understand this. I just knew. I just adapt to it as a kid. You know what I mean? A lot of kids don't get a chance to adapt to it because they don't know what to do. You know, I never had piano lessons. I never had drum lessons. I just was doing it. You know what I'm saying? So I always tried to figure out what it was, and my mom would just try to always make me sum it up and say, yo, you're a prodigy. And I used to be like, yeah, but that just puts a closed door on what I'm talking about. I'm still trying to figure out at some point, how did I just get to this point where I knew what I was doing? Like, how did I know to make a logo? It just, you know, I guess, you know, business management, accounting, and building things. Like, I always wanted to be an architect, you know what I mean? But I was like, yo, I'm so confident in knowing how to do certain things. I needed to know how the business was ran. And that was the most thing. It's like, yo, you could be this big time producer. How you gonna take care of your money? I got into business management, and I guess that helped, you know, to your question, how I learned to turn it into a business, like getting a logo. I'm 23 years old. I had a bank account with Canon Music. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, people don't know stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it was just like, I was a little more advanced, you know, and not for nothing, when I met Drama at 19 years old, he was doing the same thing. And I seen him doing little things, and I just like, okay, let me not lean on him as much, but let me take what he's doing and figure it out. You know what I mean? Yeah, for sure.
So you meet Drama at 19. When do y'all start doing the actual music, like not just music? Because I know you're DJing. He's probably DJing. When do y'all actually come together and say, okay, we actually gonna start doing tapes, or when y'all start collaborating on that?
He was already gone, so John was already popping all the way in Philly. So he's a year older. They came down, and
did you know him in Philly?
I didn't. Okay. So my guy Jabari, that I knew in Philly, was like, yo, when we go down to Atlanta, you got to get with Drama. He's like running the whole shit. And I was like, all right, cool. When I get down, I finally run into him. I give him a beat tape. He goes listen to it, and he's like, yo, you good as hell. Come to the crib. So by the time I was like already coming to his crib, he was living off campus, and he already had like these guys. They was big in the city called Binkus, and you know they was tied into Talib Kweli and Mos Def and Fat Beats. He was already like in motion. So I was just trying to get my beats to them guys, like just being in, you know, in his circle. And he already had a network. He had all these people around him. He was already like making tapes. He had like a dance hall mixtape. He had How the South was one, which was the original Gangsta Grillz. It was called How the South was one. and he had a automatic relaxation, which was like a neo soul tape. So at that time, I was making beats like in the basement, so those fit those projects, and I started producing his intros and stuff like that, just getting out there. You know what I mean? And then that just grew into a whole business of when Gangsta Grillz was started. We moved into me giving the records to the artists. You know, they were all new, so it wasn't like no stuck up in the air shit. Like, you know, T.I. was new, so him rapping on my beat, he was just doing his thing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it just grew. We just met a whole bunch of people. I think the only person that was already moving by the time we started was Ludacris, and he was like big for the city. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So yeah.
Gotcha. So these mixtapes, right? We grew up in the mixtape area, like we were saying in the beginning. Like, when did you guys recognize that Gangsta Grillz became this cultural, like this cultural thing? And from that, how did you guys start monetizing Gangsta Grillz? Because, like, we know mixtapes were free. We would get this music for free. We'd go to Dat Piff, Line Wide, wherever we was going to get it.
You had the big homie, you get it from him, and you rip it from him, store it in your stuff, like.
Yeah. So what year did y'all graduate from school?
2013.
2013.
Okay, so in the early 2000s when Gangsta Grillz was created, it was just a brand of everybody. Mm-hmm. And we knew it got big when Little John and, you know, Killer Mike and Big Boy and those guys was calling like, yo, we want to do a mixtape. Because basically, again, that's your business card. So that's what we were doing. You know what I mean? We were making business cards for these artists, and we were being the spokesman for them. We're basically, you know, QVC is a great product. I'm on there telling y'all need to buy this product. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all was the QVC of the streets.
You see what I'm saying? So that's what we was trying to do the whole time, was be these people that could, you know, front run the artists. Mm-hmm. So that's where it pretty much came from. That's where the brand started getting big. You know, we got to levels like when John Legend was calling, and Gnarls Barkley, which is CeeLo, mm-hmm. and Pharrell and Wayne, and then we was like, oh, we on to something. You know what I mean? So that's where it really came into play. Like, we knew we had a brand. You know what I mean?
So when did you guys really just start saying, okay, we're taking Gangsta Grillz, we're going to really just switch over to the focusing on the artist side, you know, like the label side, and actually starting to push that type of stuff?
There was a time where we were doing all this stuff for artists, and all we were getting was the handshake, like, thank you so much.
Yeah, like,
you still doing all of that shit for free too?
No. But we were getting paid, but it was just like, it wasn't this big, you know. Mm-hmm. These guys are jumping to back end profits. They're jumping to millionaire status, and it's like we're stuck here. So we're just trying to figure out where it goes from there. And we were good friends. We made good friends with a lot of the artists, but they were always signed to different situations. Mm-hmm. So we wanted to figure out how to get into that space. And the first thing was like, hey, Gangsta Grillz a brand, let's do an album. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, the first people was Asylum and Atlantic Records that picked up and was like, oh, we could do an album and really monetize this the correct way. And I think that's where it turned over to a real business, mm-hmm. where it was like, okay, we're getting the album out. It's legitimately coming out. It's not, you gotta go find it on the street or a line wire or nothing. It's just like legitimately coming out. So I think that's where the business started to flourish in a real space. And that's pretty much it. Like, you know what I mean? We just turned over leaf. Like I was saying earlier, we never knew what we were doing. We didn't have no manager coming and saying, yo, like,
do this.
No, we was just doing it. Like, you know what I'm saying? When you came with the deal, it was like, oh, we doing a deal. And we gonna deliver. That's, you know, part of my forte and my toolbox is being an executor. Mm-hmm. So all I knew how to do was execute. I didn't think about anything else. You know what I mean? I just executed. I didn't care. I just wanted the job done. I wanted it right. That's just how, you know, I thought about it. So we didn't have a whole bunch of strategic things going on, because it was like, man, you got to strike while it's hot. Mm-hmm. What are we doing? Who's executing? You know what I mean?
Gotcha. And that's a strong lesson in that, though. Like, sometimes we always want to have everything all figured out, but execution is the way that you'll get to the point.
1,000%.
Whenever, 1,000%. Like you said, strike when the iron's hot. I really like that So I guess my next thing that I'm wondering, you guys you got the first album done with the label. When did the idea for you and Drama come together for you guys to form your own label?
Right after the album. So again, we were getting offers, and it was like, man, y'all breaking so many artists. What are we doing? What are y'all doing? And the first person that came to us was Joey Manda, and Joey Manda has been, a legend in New York and in the game. And he was running Asylum at the time. I think he had Swisher House. He had Dipset. He was doing a lot of business with them. And Asylum was a division of Atlantic and Warner at the time. Mm-hmm. And we went to Atlantic. We sat with him. We talked about him. He really saw the vision. And he gave us a record deal for Affiliates Records, which was our first label that really nobody really knew about. And we had an artist named Willie the Kid, and we were pushing him. When we did Asylum, we was like, oh, we could put out as many projects as we want, you know what I mean, on the great platforms. Like, we actually about to be in Best Buys. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we are focusing on. And within that label experience, we learned that always being in front of the artist doesn't work the same on a commercial level than a lot of times than it does on an underground level. Mm-hmm. So like if you got Swisher House and they're pushing all these artists, like the brand is making these artists because the city knew about the brand. Like the city knew about Gangsta Grillz, but when we're going to a commercial level, like the hires, they don't really know what Gangsta Grillz is. So we were getting in front of the artists too much and not letting the artists be out and us just pushing it. We was like, hey, you better listen to us. And they like, well, who the fuck is y'all? You know what I'm saying? So I think that's where most of the lessons in the business came early on. Was our first deal with Asylum and just trying to figure out the process and how to really make it work. And yeah, that's pretty much it with that.
Gotcha. I'm glad you brought up lessons because I wanted to get in that. What was that one of your biggest lessons when coming up, like that not getting in front of the artists, or what was one of your biggest lessons from that era before y'all really just started to really take off?
That was one of the biggest lessons. We learned that later too. We was like, damn, why does artists ain't working? We're working on everybody else, and it's working on the underground level, but it's not working commercially. But I felt like we were kind of like pushing too hard in front of somebody else's talent. We overshadowed it. So that was one of the, one of the things.
The stars over the actual rap.
Yeah, because actually we were, but we had some acts signed, but like we were gravy over, you know what I'm saying? It was just too much. You know what I mean? It was too much.
If you were doing a show promoting Willie the Kid, people wouldn't comment for Willie the Kid, they would comment for Don and DJ Drama.
We didn't allow him to build into a space where he was on his own, and then we kind of, pushed it. It was just like, for some reason, we were so hot that everything that they were talking about was based on us. So it was like, oh, he just popping because of him. And that was, we didn't see it at the time because we were in it.
More like a cosign type.
Yeah, like it was just too much. It was like they didn't even give him a chance. Dude could rap his ass off, you know what I mean? But he didn't get quite the chance because we were scorching hot, bro. We was all in front of them, like, so you know what I mean?
So from there, you guys realized that in order to build it more like a successful label, you had to play the background more.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, like we were putting him on a great song. He was on songs with Fab. He was on songs with everybody. But I think it was just forcing it on people more than it was. Like I said, he was talented as hell, but it was just like we couldn't see it. And then in the South, it's like you get all these people, they just talking from all over the place. That we started, we in Atlanta, we build in Atlanta, but we bring in like an up north type of artist in. It's like, it's just so much talk you hear that we had to focus on tuning out because it was like, yo, what is the real key and the issue here? Like, how do we get to the next step? So there was a lot of that confusion going on, but we learned through that in order to travel into the new business. And, some things I had to learn, like I took a job at Def Jam just to learn, what was under the hood. Like, how's this operate? Why is it operating like this? What don't we know? You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
So those things all helped us grow into the business we have now.
New generation now.
Yes, sir.
And I'm glad you talked about the job at Def Jam. What was your role first?
Vice President A&R.
Okay. Yeah. So second is I want to because a lot of people, we just see the final product of music, right?
Yep.
We don't see the process of actually creating the music, refining it, like you said, pushing it out. What does that look like to actually, what's some of the pieces of the team that's needed to be successful in the music industry, right? Like, you know, football, you got linemen, you got a quarterback, you got a running back. What do you need on a label?
You talking about on an independent level? You talking about on a label level?
Could you do a breakdown of both?
Okay, so on the independent level, you don't have like a lot of overhead sometimes to work on stuff, right? So one of the things that we always started out was with a good A&R. It was Artist and Repertoire, is the original name of A&R, if anybody doesn't know. And they're basically doing everything the artist and the stuff that comes with it. So that's creating the music, helping them find producers, helping them with songs at some point, the writers, filling out the split sheets, getting all the credits together, putting the album together, sequencing, mix and master, all that stuff comes with A&R, you know what I mean? And when we started, we had one A&R, and they were doing all that. On an independent level, some people may have 2 or 3 A&Rs. Some people may have a general manager, which helps the overall business be good. You have a president and vice president sometimes. That's for independents, that's a little extreme because it's just a lot of salaries being tossed around just to get one thing done. Some people got studios. They have studio managers, publicists, marketing people, independent marketing companies. You know, so all those pieces go into making, you know, these projects right. You have marketing, promotion. You have publicity, really. You know what I'm saying? The A&R, getting the music right. Fortunately for us, we were the A&Rs at the point. We were the ears. So we were the ones who getting everything together. From a higher level, you have way more. So when I was in Def Jam, I started learning. You got vice presidents, you got EVOs, which is executive vice presidents, EVPs. I'm sorry. Yeah. You got promotion departments, marketing departments. On an independent level, we had one marketing person. Now you got 10 people working on, you know,
just marketing.
Yeah, then you got product managers, which manage the overall project, like where we pushing the project, when's it coming out, what markets are we going to engage in. So you got all that. Then you have, you know, your president, you have your sales. You have radio, like independents, you don't have sales. Like, we just go for what we knew. We went to the stores in a van and went promote it and be like, yo, can we sell this here in the store? And then, you know, or be like an artist, can he do it in store? So, you know, things change. So I'm like, oh snap, okay, people got, you know, whole departments for this stuff. You know what I mean? Then you got promotion departments, but back then we used to have snipers go out and put posters up and give out promo, give out towels, t-shirts, just to promote the artists. So it's so much that had to go in it, and then, you know, you start lifting up a hood and you start looking at numbers and books and what a lot of labels go after. Why do they spend money on certain things, and why do they look at this artist as more popping than a talented guy might not be getting the most, you know, promotion.
He may be a better musician or artist, but
his input,
he's harder to market.
His input is better than, his output is better than the input. So sometimes he might have a record that's doing well in certain cities, and that's why his promotion is getting, you know, a little bit more of the upside than another artist that we be like, man, why is he not popping? He's good as hell. Like, you know, it's all those things that get in there. Except for independence, we go with what we know as an ear. He's the best, put him out. This guy might be the most commercial success, but we always go for the ear. So it's just a lot that goes into the business. But I learned as in a corporation, you have all these departments that help you get your product fully out to the masses. Where independent, we just going for what we know. You know, most companies like that's independent, they go for what they know. We came from the streets. It was hustle. You know, we didn't know anything. You know what I'm saying?
If
we
it
didn't
feel
know.
right in their work, we're gonna keep on doing
That was it. We was in the field, so it was like we didn't know who to contact to do it. We just threw it up and hopefully it stuck. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
Sure. So next thing I wanted to get into, you mentioned earlier when y'all had the affiliates, y'all was signed to Asylum, and Asylum was signed to Atlantic, correct?
It was a division.
So okay, I kind of want to get into the structure of some of these labels because we know there's like what 3 majors. What there's Atlantic, Warner, Def Jam. Is Def Jam part of Warner?
Def Jam is part of Universal.
Yeah, is Sony still?
Sony. So you got. We can go bigger. I can't really get into it, but Vivendi is like it's a company all the way over, you know, and they control a lot of.
I actually tried
companies.
Googling them niggas one time. It's so hard to figure.
Yeah, it's a lot. Like we be here all day trying to figure out what that is.
It's so many sub companies that make it up. It's just like backtrack to back.
Yeah, it's like really the big backers. You know what I'm saying? Then you had a company. So Universal has Universal Republic, BMG, Interscope, Def Jam. You know, all those companies. Then you got Warner, which has Atlantic Records is their sister company. You got Asylum still. Warner is standalone on his own. You have Elektra, which is a dance company. It's so many labels in there. ADA, which is like their press and distribute company. Then you have like the Sony that has Epic, RCA, Sony itself. You know,
it's a lot of layers to it. So I guess the reason I'm asking is because I always try to understand how these deals work with like an artist whenever they get their own label, right? So an artist will sign. I always think about a Pusha T line whenever he was beefing with Drake. He said, "You signed to one nigga that signed to another nigga that signed to 3 niggas." Like I'll just be trying to understand the structure of it and how artists benefit by creating their own label.
Yeah, so I'll give you a two thing scenario. So some artists may sign to one person. So say I'm from the streets, I'm from the projects, and I meet the guy that got the money from the projects. We may do some business together to help me get to the next level. That guy might know somebody that's a club owner, and a club owner introduces us to, this is just an example. This don't have to be, I'm just clearly off the mind. Might introduce me to somebody they do business with at the club that's a label owner that has, you know, signing power. In order to get to that next level, they may say, hey, well, I want to be in business with you, let's sign this, and then I'll get you to this. And that's how you end up in 3 deals. You might end up in 4 deals. You might end up in, you know, just 1 deal. So a lot of artists that come now, the way they get their videos out, the way they, you know, use promotion, if it's not for free, they may look for somebody that has some backing for them, and that might be their furnishing company or whatever. And so that's how people get in these situations. But then, you know, people, as we've gone on, people start signing themselves to themselves. They build a company, sign themselves to the company. It's just so many ways around it. You know, some people just like having backing. You know, most artists do, because you just want to worry about being creative. You don't want to worry about having to pay for this video, and what do I do next? Like, you know, coming up, the kids are a lot smarter now. They're like, you know, they're really cost effective. They're really smart with times and social media, where they know when to drop it to get the most shock value and traction. But there's also a lot of people that come from places where they don't have all those resources. You know what I mean? So we could get into that later, but that's why I was just talking about, like, getting signed to yourself is probably the smartest, because you have the control. You're the furnishing company. A lot of people go directly to the label, and then some people end up in those situations where they're signed to somebody. But I don't think none of it is wrong. Honestly, it's just how you think your steps are. You know, we're all creators in some way. So in order to get to some of these levels, you have to have some type of sacrifices. You know what I mean? So within those sacrifices, you might say, hey man, I need 20 grand to get me to this place. I need to travel to Rolling Loud. I need to do this. You know what I'm saying? So all of it's right. It just depends on the choice and what you want to do as an artist. And, you know,
what's going to be your path. I feel you. Like I kind of equate it to the whole employee versus entrepreneur argument that's going on right now. Like, people encourage a lot of people to hop into entrepreneurship, try to be their own boss. And it may not always be the best path for that individual. Like, sometimes it's better to work within a different system, get that funding, that strong, consistent backing from something else before just trying to hop out there on your own.
Yeah, and I want people to stop stressing the fact that you have to do it on your own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can find these pieces to help you get there. You know what I mean? And that's where the next level of you know, the new creatives and entrepreneurship is finding the pieces, you know. But if you want to go that route, it's okay. Like I seen I'm riding through Atlanta right now. I see Money Man. He got these promotions going. His main line is a 9 to 5 isn't corny, being broke is.
Yeah.
And it really hit me because I'm like, man, a lot of people out here thinking 9 to 5 is a bad thing. I know a lot of people took a 9 to 5 as billionaires right now. Now you might not be a billionaire at 30, you might be a billionaire at 60, but the path was great because you stood by something that was like, man, I'm not too good to go do what I need to do. You know what I mean? So that I like that promotion that he's doing right now, and I think that we still need to be like, yo, it's okay to do this. You know, it's okay to meet this guy if it's the right synergy and take 30 grand so I can go get something done, or you know, or do it on my own. You know what I mean? I'm really pushing that as well, like doing it on your own, because right now you don't really need a lot of money to do stuff. You just need to know which way to go. You know what I mean? So that's just my point.
And I kind of want, while we're talking about, you know, the structure of deals and everything, I kind of want to go into different types of deals. Like, you know, there's 360 deals. There's deals where you owning your masters. There's like, as you said, a distribution deal. Can you kind of break down the different types of deals? What's a distro deal versus a 360?
A 360 deal is when you're signing and signing to an independent, you're signing to a production company or straight to a label. This is a deal where the person that's in business with you is eating off every little piece. So you got ancillaries that come from tour, they come from merch. Sometimes it comes from endorsement deals with, you know, sneaker companies or movie contracts. You know, however the 360 is set up. You know, those are, you know, that's the most current deal that people get into. Now you have people doing those, and outside of that have master ownership deals where they own majority of the master, which means they have control over syncs when they go to television, you know, certain things like that. Then you have distribution deals where, you know, I've seen some people do 85-15 splits where they keep 85% and 15% from the company. It's like a distro deal is what they call it. Or some people, you know, go to DistroKid and get 100% of their money. You know what I'm saying? And the distro deal breakdown is basically just using the tools of these companies while you're getting your independent stuff together, pretty much. You know, that's what it looks like. It's just a distribution. It's not really somebody telling you how to make the product, helping you with the product. It's just like using the tools. So it's like, you know, this might be Empire and I'm using their marketing tools. I might be using their publicity. I might be using that, and you know, that percentage comes out of what you earn or whatever's coming through the pipeline. So those are there's so many deals. You got licensing deals now. Artists doing their licensing deals and taking an advance against the license for a certain amount of year, and they get it back. You know what I mean? So all that's you know, all those deals. It's so many.
It's
bro.
a lot of different types of deal structures in there.
It's so many.
So I kind of want to get into the social media thing you touched on earlier, because now it seems like to get those types of deals that you're talking about, does an artist need to kind of have their own buzz going on to get, like, say, like I want to have one of these master deals where I get the 85%, 15 with the label versus like, because you know in the past, radio was the #1 channel. Now we're in the streaming era, SoundCloud, Spotify. Does an artist need to have their own type of like established fan base prior to?
It helps. It helps for certain people. I mean, you know, us for Generation Now, we nobody that we were rocking with had this big social media presence. We never built on numbers and analytics. Sometimes that's cool when you want to hit a base hit or hit a home run, you might get it, but we've never won being in a bidding war for somebody that has this big social media following. You know what I mean? I'll jump in, and once it's there, it's like everybody's hollering at you. You know what I'm saying? I was following this kid just now. I love his music. But, you know, when I went to talk to them, they was like, yo, you can throw an offer in. And that's basically like, for us, because it's like, you know what I mean? That means that a lot of people
in a bid war.
Yeah. I'm not good with bidding wars. Like,
Yeah.
I'm happy with what's for us is for us, or what's for me is for me. I'm not really fighting to get nobody's attention. I know what we do. You study and you respect what we do, or respect what I do, and you'll learn it. You know what I mean? Like I said, like Jack Harlow didn't have no big social media presence. Uzi didn't have no big social media presence. Even the artists we got now, they don't have any big social media presence before we met them. This is just pure talent and conviction that we went through to find them. But it does leverage certain things. Like, you know, I talk about a lot of artists in certain interviews and how they set up themselves to be master owners, you know, or, you know, doing certain things. So I think there's life in being big on social media. We've seen a lot of people build careers on social media to where they've got endorsement deals, you know, they got, you know, advertising, you know, so I can't say it's wrong. I just say for us, it's tough for me to buy into that because I can't really see the talent in it. You know what I mean?
Kind of thinking that I hate to use him as the example, but like a 6ix9ine, right?
Yeah.
Where I think the man's music is trash. I just don't like it. It's not for me.
Same.
But the social media antics kept him relevant. It kept him.
Even Lil Pump, dog.
Yeah, like that whole little colorful hair
Era.
That was not a fun time for me to rap.
I mean, they smart kids, and you know that's what I look past. Like, I'm not even into like the personal shit. Like, really, I be like really studying like, well, how did they get here?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm watching like Lil Pump and you know whoever's out there. These guys are smart in their own right. Like, they marketers. These kids, 17 years old.
Yeah, they took advantage of it.
I know I was doing that. I knew how to market. I didn't have social media, but I knew how to get people to listen to my music or recognize me. I knew what to do. I knew what scratches to do on what songs in the cafeteria or what song to play to get the attention I needed to be like, yo, I fuck with Holmes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I know what they're doing. So I pay attention to all the kids and what they're doing because it's like, you know, on a competition level, we all go, oh, that's trash and all this. But I'm watching how they're captivating crowds by doing certain things, how they stay in motion and things like that's very important. Like, that's a skill in itself. Like, to even, you know, even if you don't have the best of music, but you're able to market, that's hard as shit. Like, anybody know in any business, marketing is probably one of the hardest things to do. You know what I mean? So I'm watching these kids do that, and it's like, it's amazing. So, you know, I just watch from afar. Like, I don't really want to get into the whole kind of academic blog type thing where I'm watching people like destroy. I'm watching how y'all marketing each other, how y'all doing that. You know what I mean?
How you reaching the masses?
Yeah, because it's important to me. I'm zoned in. I'm like Kobe. Like, I don't care about nothing but what's going on. Like, how do we tap into that? Like, all the other shit is cool, but you know what I mean? I'm really into watching them do that, and all them kids have done it. All of them. Like, all of them that's popping. I don't see a lot of gimmicks. I see a lot of shock value things, and I'm doing them. It's like, oh, this is good marketing. How are they doing this? You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's how I look at it. You know what I mean? But they captivated, like, you know, all that stuff. All these guys.
Yeah.
That's a good take on it. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
Definitely caught the attention of the people for sure. And so next thing I wanted to get into is with production, with producers. So as a producer, we kind of talked about some of the structures of deals earlier. How do producers get paid off of music?
Multiple ways. You got royalties, you have mechanicals, publishing, advances against, you know, whatever's coming out. So, like, you know, if I'm selling a beat, you know, most of the time I have a fee or an advance for using the product, you know what I'm saying? And then I have like I have ways of getting publishing, royalties based on the record, and mechanicals. You know, all that stuff is like long-term money. You know what I mean? But those are all the ways you can.
So advances in like the immediate check versus the publishing, the royalties, and what was the last
Mechanical royalties, basically. Okay. Yeah.
So like with mechanical royalties, you getting paid from, like you said, whenever it's on a TV, on a movie or something like that.
Yeah.
Or like
so,
every time it's
sales.
Yeah.
Every
time it's streamed and all of that type
NFL,
of shit.
You know, all that's how you get paid. You know what I mean? When you get on TV, video games, all that stuff. You know what I mean?
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. So I kind of want to move forward to some of the newer stuff that you're getting into. And one of the first things I want to talk about is Tomorrow, the thing that you're building currently. What actually inspired Tomorrow, and can you break down what is Tomorrow?
It started with an idea, me and my fiance came up with. It's really, it's a creative marketplace. And basically, one of the pain points I go through all the time, and I tell this all the time, I go to 83C and I go to these festivals and I do these speaking engagements, and I get tired of, people, at the end, they stand up, like, you got questions, and they stand up, and the first thing says, how do I get on? How do I do this? And my main answer was like, I never had a chance to ever tell them really what it is. It's always like, man, just keep working, put your 10,000 hours in, and, which is true. But I still want more of a direct, streamlined answer for people when I'm going to them. Like, hey, this is how you do it. You know what I'm saying? And for a long time, I didn't have that answer. It's 15 years. It was just keep working hard. That's what I did. Now I have an opportunity with the app to really say, what do? You rap? Oh, come to the app. Get your cover art. Get your videographer. Get your stylist. Get your producer. Get your piano guy, your engineer, your master. Then we go to the next level. So that's where I wanted to get past. Like, I got so tired of not having an answer because, like, I'm the person that don't like to stay the same. When you ask me a question, it's like put me on the spot. And I'm not giving you no answer. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, man, work hard, bro. Keep doing it. And, I wanted that opportunity to get to create a platform to where people had a real bullseye answer.
Some directions and directives.
And that's where it started. You know what I mean?
And I kind of like how you just kind of gave a breakdown. So if I am an artist, what are some of the core, kind of like how you gave us the team for the label, what's a team that you need for an artist to be successful?
So coming up now, you're going to need a producer. You're going to need a mix and master, but there's changes here. So you got people that's all in one. Some artists I'm meeting now, they sing, rap, make beats, mix, master, just don't know how to do cover art. Don't have the video people. They got the vision, but they don't have the people to carry out the vision or the stylists for the video. So they're missing all those. Then you have artists that are stylists but can't really find producers to make beats. So we're trying to eliminate this with the app to where you can streamline everything in one way where it's like, okay, I got my producer, got my mix and master. Let me find a stylist and my video guy. You know what I'm saying?
You
That's
can
how
build your own team.
Yeah, because it's when you're an artist, it could come in variations of what you really need. Some people don't want a producer; they want to make their own beats and learn how to engineer. But they're not going to do everything. I don't know one person that's like, I do all of it. I'm the lawyer, the management.
It's too much to focus on. It's too much to focus on.
Yeah, it's too much. Unless you're just totally a business person and just half-ass artist. You know what I mean? So, it's a lot of things that go in it. Like some people don't have that many. It's just like I'm not doing no videos and no photography and no styling. I'm just doing songs. And I'm putting those out. I never want to be seen. I want people to love my music and fall back. So it's like, it's no real right or wrong answer to how much things go into what being an artist is or a producer is. It's like how you want to, how far you want to take it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What I love about Tomorrow is like kind of going back to what you were talking about earlier with being independent. It allows an independent person to establish that team. Like you can find people in your city who do the things that can fortify your weaknesses. I do produce, but I'm not the best producer. But I can find this guy. He's gonna be. You got ratings on here to tell you where they are, where they're from. You can see how they work, and you don't necessarily have to be in the same city with these people either. Right? You can work with people
remotely,
all across the globe.
So
with Tomorrow, how does if I'm somebody in the industry, not necessarily an artist, but maybe a videographer or somebody, how do I get onto the platform?
So what you'll do is you'll get on the app, you'll set up a profile, sign up, set up a profile. Your profile is basically, if you're a videographer, a little bit of your videos, a couple pictures of what you've really done. And you have that there. And it allows people to go and look at the portfolio and say, oh, his work is nice. Let me hit him up and get some work done. or vice versa. And this goes for all of the artists, creatives. I'm sorry, artists, producers. Everybody has a portfolio to look at, and that's what's actually exciting about it, because most people don't have the business card to look at. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm a videographer. Where you work? I got you. Let me get your email, and I'm gonna send you, or I'm gonna try to DM. Like, now we got a wall. We got a wall there, and that's the importance of it. Like, portfolios. Wow, I see your work. I see people all the time. We was just in a store yesterday, and it's people that do photography work, but now they are artists now, and they just don't. I'm gonna be getting at you real soon. It's like, man, I'm waiting for the portfolio, because that's what I want to see. I want to see the work. I don't, the type of person I am. I'm not the talker. I'm trying to see what's up. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Like, you can't just tell me you're gonna do it. I need to see what it's gonna look like.
So when you're on the app, that's your first step to success, is having that portfolio on the app and letting everybody be able to see it. You know what I mean? And that's what I like the most.
So I kind of want to get into the transition from being just into the music industry. This is more tech based. So like, what was that transition like for you? Had you ever done anything like this before? What was it like developing the app, like building the team for that? How was that process for you?
It was easy for me. I tell you, when I was 11, 10, maybe 10 years old, my mom had a Hewlett Packard. I always tell this story as well. I used to make video games on there. Just C, we do C:\\, and I do all this coding, and I made like these little like Oregon Trail type video games and stuff like that. So I always been a tech dude, and then hooking up equipment and just knowing that that's a form of tech, technology, knowing
just hardware, not software.
You see what I'm saying? So as I grew, I just always stayed ahead of the game. I always wanted the new phone. I had the SkyTel pager. I manipulated that to make my own ringtones. I did so much stuff moving into the world, and then 2009 and 10, I had an app. People didn't. I had an app. It was called the Don Cannon app. You could go on the app, and you could see where I was DJing at for the next month. I had a platform called Studio Rats. You could go in there and look at the Studio Rats. It's basically like an impromptu studio session of me working with maybe Asher Roth back then, or Cool Kids, or Currency. Well,
shout out to Spitter.
I had all that on the app, and I think it was too. It felt a little personal, so it was like, I need to figure out that. So I kind of let it breathe, die out a little bit, because it was just too personal. It's like, man, you're gonna find out on the internet, Ticketmaster, where I'm at. How can I next level it? So I just, it kept changing, but I always stayed technical. I was always internet. I was always, what's the next move? Figure out Wi-Fi, figure out encryptions, figuring out how not to get hacked. You know what I'm saying? All the way into, the Dat Piffs, and how we can get music out over the net, or, how we can promote over the net. So it's always been a tech. It's just not me popping up like, yo, he's now in tech now, because, you can get that stigma of people like, yo, he just moving because everybody else doing black, you can get that stigma, but this just always being in me, and hopefully what I'm putting out there, people seeing it like, oh no, he really been doing it. Like, anybody that I grew up with, or anybody out there can attest to how much stuff I've done on the technical side. You know what I mean? Even my cribs be technical. It's like the Matrix. I had to, hit
the little button.
This works, the thermostat, this does, it's just always been like that for me. So it just always runs concurrent. It's nothing that I'm out here doing. Like, I don't drink liquor, so I don't have a liquor company. You know what I'm saying? I don't have cannabis, I don't smoke. So it's like, this is something that I really do.
Something that's a passion of yours that you took.
There you go.
And applied it to help artists.
There you go.
So you said it was easy. When you say easy, like, you just found the right coder and everything like that, you didn't have no hiccups in the road?
So no, we had but a lot of hiccups. You know what I mean? But what I mean by easy was the thought process and getting it done. That's the first step. That's the easiest part. All the rest of the stuff is not easy. So I'll break it down for you. I can be totally transparent. I had somebody that I came up with in school. He was already doing apps. I tried to get him to do the app. It didn't turn out well. We moved forward. We lost money there, right? So then I felt like because I did this, I'm more of a when I say architect, that moves into puzzles, figuring things out, and being a solutionist. So then I started thinking about, oh man, I took the weight on my shoulders. Like, oh, fuck that up. Let me find out who really does this. So I went to a deep dive in the internet. You know, you go black market, you go all down there, and then I turned up, and I found a company that actually built it for us, and then took us through each step. Like, you know, we watched it getting built. We talked to certain people while it was getting built. We had a product manager.
And stuff like
that. And you know, one of the hardest things as an entrepreneur is, you know, as black entrepreneurs, you know, we had this, we are almost oppressed a lot of times. We see money going out the door and we feel like we're not gonna make it back. So we're kind of like always hustling. So the first thing is, hey, this is gonna cost a lot of money. That's money out the door. It's the bootstrapping. That's hard as shit to do on your own, to bootstrap something that's gonna cost a lot of money. And figuring like, man,
especially
we might
in
not,
tech space.
yeah, we might not see any income from this in 5 years, 3 years, 30 years, but it's a step forward into believing in a process. So we had those.
Making that investment in yourself.
That's right. So we have these hiccups where you run into people that don't really know what they're doing. We had a couple people that thought they knew how to promote, know how to market. You know what I'm saying? And you know. Just do a whole bunch of stuff. Those are all hiccups. And then, you know, you run into, you know, once you have your MVP and you have your app, then you got to worry about bugs. You know what I mean? Is it working properly? Can I show it to people? Like, it's so much. It's not that part is not the easy part. The easy part is the process of what we think it should look like, how we want it to be perceived. But as far as like all the other stuff, that's the hard shit. Paying for it and it being $200 grand, but wind up being $275 grand or $500 grand because you run it, you know, you run it tall.
These hiccups you had,
bro. You got
the first person that you thought could do it that you paid.
You budgeted out for that. Now you gotta double back and do it again.
And like you find out later, like we could have, you know, there's people out here that make apps and they sell their mainframe or their frame for the app, and you could copy that app and be a lot cheaper. You know what I'm saying? And you know.
White label.
We didn't go that route. We didn't go to, you know, Snapchat and copy that mainframe. We did our own mainframe. Then you got to think about being on iOS, which is a Mac, and then going to Android and paying the same amount of money that you paid for that one because they're not compatible. They're making ways of doing it now, but these are all the things we're thinking about. We got that up and people hit you like, yo, I'm on Android. I really want to be on a platform. How can I do it? And I want to be like, man, go get an iPad, you know, it's an iPhone. But at the same time, like we got to pay for an Android version. So all these hiccups you learn through the process, you know what I mean? And I was used to the process doing this with music. Like we'll break an artist, you come back with another artist, they're like, oh yeah, you got that one off, but I don't know about this one. Then I got to make him a superstar. And then they come back the same thing. Oh, you had them too. It's just always a song dance. So it's the same process when we're building this. It's like, we know we're going to run into some stop signs. We just got to get past it. So those are all the hiccups that we run into. And then, you know, just, you know, funding. And funding in itself is hard to get people to believe. Yeah. I got so many people that fuck with me on the music tip, but just be tap dancing on the investment.
Oh, that's dope,
you
bro.
know? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because, and I'd be like, man, don't miss the train. I'm giving you an opportunity to be a part of a unicorn. And it'd be like, if you step, you know what I'm saying? And I don't want it to be too late, but all the investors out there, you're listening, I'm telling y'all, that's all I'm saying.
Hey, so I do want to ask this. Is tomorrow available like through a website? If an artist wants to get on the platform that way, could they go into like their browser and do that?
We were thinking about making a web piece of the brand, but right now we're just on iOS. Gotcha. We have a website. You can go check out the website. You can learn about it and everything. But it's really just you know, iOS. You could do the iPad if you got it, because that's in the same form.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And so with the marketplace, how are you guys going to be making y'all money off of it? Are y'all charging a certain percentage for everything coming through?
Yeah.
How's that set up?
It's going to be a percentage on the jobs that's coming through. So that's how we're making our money, and that's how we're keeping the brand going.
So also with it, what is like the cost of actually maintaining that? Because a lot of people think that, you know, once I get it built, it's just good. But then there's also like maintenance with apps. Like you said, there's bugs.
Yeah.
There's people that try to hack shit. Like, what's the cost of actually maintaining an app as well?
So again, being all transparent, because I want people to know what it takes. When we did the first MVP and the first app with that company, after we built it, it cost us like $300,000, right? Maintenance was around between $11,000 and $15,000 a month.
Jesus.
Right, for maintenance. Then we moved into where we kind of so I break it down with Tomorrow. When we first did the Tomorrow app, it was for all creatives across the board. So we were going for DJs, they wanted to do weddings and all that. But people kept coming to me and asking me, how can I get in the music business? So it was only right for us to get it into the music aspect and get a niche. Like that way I can give you ideas better. When I'm there, it's like I don't know about weddings like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I do know about music. And I'm 100% sure that this could be the way you get to the next level. So all that being said, when we swapped it over, we started, making little tweaks and stuff like that. But again, maintenance every month. iOS changes every month. New bugs, our changes.
Privacy
rules. Our maintenance is $6,000 to $10,000 a month. You know what I mean? Just keeping it going and keeping, adding things, and it's just an ongoing thing. It's the baby has to grow. You got to keep feeding it. You know what I'm saying? We got verification with things now, or you become the verified creative, and we just keep adding things. We're building brands. We're doing the Beat Store, which is coming up pretty soon. It's just an ongoing thing, and the train doesn't stop. You just have to keep paying out at just what the investment calls for. You know what I mean?
Sir, they said. I like that analogy of a baby with business, because people always think a business is going to be a full-grown adult right when they have it, right? Like, this thing going to be feeding itself, it's going to be feeding me, we're going to, homie, you're going to have to take care of that thing for a few years before it becomes be able to be independent and start doing it. So I'm glad that you share that.
That's right, man. That's right.
And what type of growth have you seen since y'all launched?
We've seen a lot. We had thousands of creatives. I don't know the exact number, but it's a whole lot. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
We're growing by the minute. We are seeing anywhere from 200 to 300 downloads a day. You know what I mean? Right. And I think that's just coming from word of mouth, and us jumping into really getting to certain creatives and helping them engage. Like we did a project with Brittany B. And Brittany B is like, she's been out here. She's on Love and Hip Hop. She does music. Great writer. We did a situation with her where we're helping her find creatives for her project, like the photographer, producer, writers, all that for our project. So that's doing really well, and it's just us engaging in the community and helping people get the things they need to blow up. You know what I mean? So those are the things that's helping. Again. It's tough because it's black owned. We're out here just doing it. We're not really got a super VC behind us pushing this joint. We're just really, doing this off the rip, and just to see thousands of people get on this app and be a part of, something that can be big, it means a lot, because it's helpful for the community and the creatives.
My guy Reggie actually shared a video with me. He was like, whenever people hear black owned, they think that we're looking for some type of handout, or like they're acting as it's a charity instead of actually investing in a business. So it's interesting that you just said, the hurdles that we have to face as being black owned.
Absolutely. Me and my guys always talk like on a money level, and it's like, bro, we made tons of money and we put tons of money back into the community. We never got a chance to invest in Target, and Uber, and these type of companies because we weren't accredited. We didn't get that chance. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times. So
that early stage investing.
Yeah. So like being in this, so-called minority space, like it's great for us to be able to poke our chest out and be like, yo, it's black owned, because we went through all the hardships to get here. This ain't just some, producer that made a lot of money just trying to put it into something. This is like for the community, bro. This is some real, I'm really passionate about this. It's like, it's helping me a lot, because I really had an issue not giving people real answers. I couldn't You know, I might not have been lying, but it was like it wasn't a real answer for me to say keep working hard.
You couldn't get into the particulars of everything.
There you go. There you go.
I am glad that you created this solution because I got in my head when I first seen it, I'm like, bro, this is like Fiverr, but specifically for
the music industry.
Yeah.
And I think it's so necessary for like, artists and creatives to have that centralized platform that they can go to. So definitely, man, you have our support here at Black Wealth Renaissance.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah. I'm gonna throw this out there too. It's not just for creatives. You know, we got labels. Any label owners out there, any people that have independent companies, even the real labels like Atlantic, they should get on there and find the creators. We got thousands of people ready to work, like that are dope as hell. Like that's opening. We got the client side, we got the creative side. So, you know, if you're a client and y'all could go on there and find people to do, you know, artwork, you know what I'm saying?
Chop up the pod.
Or do y'all intro, like somebody rap, you know, it's so much stuff for everybody. Like y'all can just hire people, you know what I mean?
Hey, that's dope. That's a great idea. I appreciate that. And you kind of actually talked about investing. Us being Black Wealth Renaissance, that's something that we really like to push with the community is just financial literacy.
Yep.
Were you investing early on, or, you know, was that something that you were taught in your younger days? You know, you say you touched a lot of paper.
Yeah.
Was that something that you were doing throughout your younger days until now?
Yeah, so luckily, you know, even growing up, like, we had good lives, but we were still not even, you know, in the mid-class at some point. My mom was an accountant. She used to do all our family's taxes because they didn't have a bunch of money to pay CPAs to do certain things. So she always, you know, coming up, she always taught me that. That's why I took business management, because it's like, bro, I'm not going to take accounting. She's already teaching me that. And she's always taught me, like, how to save, how to invest. I had CDs early in life. It wasn't a bunch of money, but it was just money.
Something that's giving you a return on something.
Yeah. My money marketing accounts was no money in it. I didn't have nothing. I was in school eating, you know, chicken patties, and, you know what I'm saying? We was
shout out to the
poor in
cap.
school, you know what I'm saying? So she taught me how to do that. You know, when I first got my chunk of change, she wasn't even excited. She was like, oh yeah? Come on, we're going to put this away for taxes, put this away for the investment, put this, you know, and I was like, man, I just made this money. Can I spend this shit? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, man, fuck that. You know what I mean? So she taught us how to invest. I got into like early utilities. I don't know if people know about stocks and bonds and utilities. Like I was investing in certain gas monies and just making money. It saved me a couple times because, you know, a couple times being young, I ran through a lot of bread. And I was able to pull from that and just having the cash on hand just to save my life. You know what I'm saying? So I was always in the stocks since like 26. I was always in like I said, the utilities and just having those retirement accounts. And I just always was in that space. Like even people around me that's getting money, it's like, bro, you always been on some financial literacy shit. I was like, yeah, you know, my Dukes put me on, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, shout out to Miles for real, dog.
Put me on. So I had a lot of that, a lot of those anchors. You know what I mean? She was just like, you know, again, we didn't come from a lot of money. We just, you know, we made it work for what we had, and you know, we had some of the same backgrounds as everybody. Like everybody wasn't rich. Everybody didn't have a lot of money. But I was thankful that she taught me those because I can carry that on. And now I know how much I can play around with, how much you got to put away, how much we need to do for the taxes.
The fact that she told you to put some money away for
Taxes, hell yeah.
Like, clutch, I already know, because imagine how many, well, not just imagine, I'm sure you've seen it firsthand.
Yeah.
Artists get their first check and they think, man, I got this advance for $1 million, I got $1 million. And it's like, whoa, buddy.
Nah, play
You
ball.
got 600,000 off top. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know, and not for nothing, I'll give you a little background. So I do a lot of issuing. Like, so if I have issues, I always wonder where the issue comes from. So when I look back at my childhood and we grew up, we had a lot of problems with police. And the police like stopping us and, you know, pulling us over, harassing us and all this stuff. You know, my cousin got killed when we were younger by the police. And it just, I've always had a problem, you know, with the law at some point. And I just felt like at any point it wasn't in my hands. You know what I mean? So I was like, yo, let me make it in my hands and do all the right things. So that came with the taxes. Make sure you pay your taxes. So in 8 years, you don't get tax evasion and have to do something that you didn't want to do, like go to jail. You know what I mean? So a lot of that stuff was like, yo, just get these things out the way. These are the rules. Try to figure out the loopholes. Try to figure out certain things, but keep your, PTSD down by, doing the right thing. So that's what, keeps me on the straight and narrow with always putting this aside for, Uncle Sam. Put that away just in case, you got to reach out and touch the money at some point.
Rainy
and
day
you don't get an investment. So, we got a lot of that going on as young black dudes. Just like we'd be successful and then we end up making a terrible choice on greed and having to pay for it later. IRS might not come get you that day. They may come get you later
like to
on.
Come get you the first
Yeah,
time.
they let it build up.
They get a case on you, then they come pop out.
Or even if you don't pay it right away, man, the interest rates on that money is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? So I learned my way through that and just kind of stay on the way. It's like, hey man, I made this money, put that away, get out the way, or spend it all and not have to pay nothing. You know what I mean? But again,
doing it the right way through a business structure.
There you go. So that's where I'm like, trying to keep it smart. And I'm teaching all the people around me, like, when you get your advance, put your money aside for certain things.
Yeah,
That's dope. Cause we always see the stories of like this artist, the fall from glory, where they had all of this money or whatever.
The MC
and like
Hammer story.
Yeah, like they get, but people be sleeping on MC Hammer. MC Hammer still kind of shook back. Like he got some investments and shit.
The stories.
But yeah.
But
we see all of those things, and I'm happy that you're talking to your people that you bringing up. Like, yo, this is what you need to do, because now they can move smarter. They can make these investments, and they can put back, and you can. They're going to teach the people that's coming up behind them, and it's really just planting that seed into them for it to keep on growing and just keep on cultivating. I love that shit.
It's about learning, bro, because, again, we all came oppressed at some point. You know what I mean? So, when you get your first chunk of change at 21 years old, a kid's getting a record deal for $3-4 million, fucking 2.5 of it in cash in pocket. It's like, what do you do at 21 years old like that? That's a dream come true. We always came up riding by like, oh, that's my car. Or when I get $1 million, I'm going to do this. So once you got that $1 million at 21, we be like, oh, shit. And then it goes out the door. And we don't learn until we got to make it back. So I want to get out there, like even some of the artists now, when they get their advances, I'll be like, yo, you should do your joint in chunks where, make them pay you how much it is. First of all, every month you should have a balance sheet of how much you need to make to be okay. Your bills, your entertainment, your food, whatever you need to do. But once you have that money set aside, say your monthly bills is $5,000. I was telling some people, make some of your advance every month be $6,500, $7,000. Then it comes once a month and not all in your pocket. You know what I'm saying? So you can
annuitize it out.
Yeah. So now you covered your bases and you ain't got to worry about the money dwindling because I just bought a watch or I just bought a chain or I bought all the new Balenciaga shit. Like, take a piece of that money and fuck around with it, and then put the rest of the money on your daily, your monthly things. Like, shit, I'm getting a monthly for $10,000 every month, taking care of my bills, taking care of everything I need. Then I can take a little 25, 30 grand, buy clothes, cars, whatever I need, and pay for your stuff. That's why I've been teaching people. There's so many ways. They don't think about their money like that. They just think, I'm getting 600 coming in. You know what I mean?
They just see the O's, dog.
Bro,
just see the O's.
It's sad. I went through it, and that's where we get the difference between the young guys and the OGs is that we never get a chance to listen to OGs most of the time. Like, man, they old, they don't know what they're talking about. But I'm telling these guys,
the biggest thing I think about is whenever Joe Budden and Lil Yachty, like, Budden was telling them like, yo, dog, and he was just like, nah, dog, you tripping, like, nigga, I just want to be the artist, I just want to create. And then a few years later, he came back. He was like, I kind of was fucking up. I had to self-reflect. So I think that's really major, dog. And one of the last things I kind of want to talk about is the artists that y'all are working with right now, Jack Harlow, the Uzis. Like, what is that like having some of those major people on the label and really just keeping those people going? Do you have to do a lot of the marketing because they're so hot? Like, how does that work?
The good thing about both of those artists that you speak of, one, Uzi is a self-marketer, like we were talking about, came up in that age. He knows exactly how to stay hot, how to get hot if he need be, where to get the shock value from, and what type of songs he wants to make
Putting
for
a
his.
damn diamond in his
Diamond
head.
is-
You know what I'm saying?
that was the one for me.
Holmes is incredible with that.
Yeah.
We could never take that away from him. Like, you know, we add the nooks and crannies on it and, you know, and push the button for him. But for the most part, Holmes know what he's doing. To follow up, I mean, he had a vision. To follow up, Jack is the same person. He has a vision. He knows the shock value. He knows how to get there. He knows the records to make. And he knows how to captivate the crowd. These guys is really convicted on what they be doing. Like, you know what I mean? And we're happy that we were able to get next to these guys to help their vision become bigger than life. But these guys already had it. The people we got coming up, Seti Hendrix, Killuminati, Sunny Digital, which is a legend.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Carvina, which is our new R&B sensation. And any artist that's coming forward, we just want people to be convicted and know what they're doing so we can help them with the vision. And the way it's looking, like all these guys know how to do that. They know how to shock value. They know how to get to the next level. They know how to do all this stuff. So all we're doing is moving the train. We're driving the train from letting them go. It's the product, and that's where it comes in. We don't have to do a lot of marketing, like you're saying. Like we have to, you know, just keep pushing what they got going on, and it's special. You know, a lot you don't get that from a lot of artists. But nowadays, these kids know how to do that. These kids know everything about YouTube, everything about TikTok. They get hot fast. They know that, you know, everything at the right moments. They teach me about, just go and look at your analytics and see at 3 o'clock on Wednesday, that's the hottest time for you to drop this. You know, I'm sure y'all know when to drop y'all podcast. So we just sitting back and like, okay, we know you don't know how to really, you know, drive there, but you know you got the product and you know what to do. So that's how we
tapped in on that side. We was gonna refine it on the.
There you go. Refine it, the perfect word.
Since you know the kids also tapped in, is it harder to find artists nowadays? Because I feel like it's so easy because we did grow up in the era where, you know, we jumping on the Instagram. We had MySpace back in like 8th grade. Like we've been on the social media for so long. Like you were talking about earlier, you know, the people that got the big social media presence, is it hard to find some of those artists who you know are going to really deliver that product that is longevity, like a Uzi or like a Jack Harlow?
Yeah, it's hard as shit. I ain't gonna lie. Only because when we were younger, I say this, like even in your era, like if you had on the Jordan 3s, bro, I wore these. You wore them. You know what I mean? We all wanted to be like, I'm me. You know what I'm saying? Now we see a lot of, if he got an iced out watch, I need an iced out watch. That's going to make me pop. Or, you know, if social media is doing this, I'm going to copy his social media. If he got purple, blue hair, I'm going to get purple and blue hair. It's not really a lot.
Copycat sounds type stuff too.
Everything. If he sound like that and he make pain music, I'm going to make pain music. And, you know, again, the hip hop culture is addictive. Like we got a lot of like elements in there that make you want to be that. Like even from a fan's perspective, like when I was little, I wanted to be LL and Mobb Deep and Biggie. Like I just wanted to get the Versace shirt as soon as I had enough money to get it. You know what I mean? People wanted to be a Pac and, you know, and do certain things, get the Baldy. Like it's an influential thing. But at the same time, it's hard because we don't know what's what. All we're looking at social media and we're seeing 55,000 people following this kid. He got 150 comments. What does this mean? Like, does this mean that we could take him off social media, put him at Rolling Loud, and the whole stadium going to go crazy? No. You know what I'm saying? So we see a lot of that. Like that we see a lot of artists. They got 500,000 views. They got all this stuff and then can't sell a hard ticket to save their life. You know, have a room with 50 people in it. It's like, man, we thought you had 1 million followers. Like, what's going on? It don't connect the same. So we're still, the great thing about that is we're able to still be the foundation to help people grow from a seed. You know what I'm saying? And not, you know what I mean, from the social media hype. You know, I don't think we would do well with somebody like that.
Like you said, you don't look at that as the main thing. You're trying to just find people who have music that really connects with the audience. Facts. So, Don, man, I want to say thank you so much.
I appreciate y'all having me, man.
Bro.
Appreciate y'all having me.
We're going to get into just a couple of the last little questions that we like to ask.
So,
we talked about some of it with the personal finance side of things, but I want to ask, what's a personal finance tip or principle that you live by that you like to share with the people?
So, I got the 50, 30, 20, and 10 rule.
Okay. Talk to me. I know what it is. Well, talk to me.
No, you don't.
I might then.
So it's actually 10 and 10. So if I got 50 that I put away. I got 30 that I play around with. 20 that I choose as philanthropy is what I call. Like I have something set away for, and that makes my 100%. If I split them in 10, it's for philanthropy and just investing in. It's two different things. Investing in little companies. Like if y'all got a company and y'all need some backing, that would be part of my 10% for that. Or just if I break them up in 10s, like what I'm saying. Sometimes I keep the 20, like all philanthropy. I might go around the city. I might give people money. Friends call, everybody, my sister want to go to school, want to do this. That's just money out the door that I don't know is coming back. You know what I mean? So as long as I got my 50 away and my 30 to play with, the 20 or the 2 10s, I go and, either, everybody got hardship. You can borrow money and got, some people just, a lot of the 10% sometimes be having meals and paying for people's merch, just that don't got nothing to do with the music. It's something they trying to do on the side. So those are my, my pushes. You know what I mean?
Definitely wasn't what I was thinking.
I heard of what was your thinking?
It was like a budgeting. It's kind of like the same, but it was a budgeting rule that I had read about.
50,
30 is. Yeah, like you live off 50, you pay 30% of like debts.
Yep.
Then the other ones, it's like investing.
Yeah.
And then another one is like
savings.
Yeah, your savings, like emergency saving funds and stuff
So my 50, it involves debt paying off.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
you keep that in the living expenses.
Yeah, because my 30, I don't want to play around. I want to go buy all the sneaks and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? So I get the debt out, and that's one of the first things I do too. When I get money, I clear the debt. Period on everything. I don't, some people say, hey man, you should leverage that and all that. I just pay all debt. People talk debt free. I just don't like owing nobody. I don't like owing money at all. At all. I don't want nobody to say, he ain't pay me. I'm paying. I don't like owing people money.
Money good everywhere.
Yeah.
Your name good everywhere.
Yeah.
So I got some questions, and it's 3 of them, real rapid. First one, are you frugal or are you flexor?
I go back and forth, man. So some days I'm frugal. Like she'll tell you, like I'm frugal some days I'm flexing. You know what I'm saying? Most days I'm frugal. Some days I get up like, we out. It's baller day. What we call it? It's fucking Fridays. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We go fucking Fridays and just go ape shit for no reason. But sometimes that gives me a rush to keep hustling. Sometimes I might get staggered and just like the frugal space, like, man, you not having no fun, you making all this money, you ain't doing nothing. Sometimes I just get in that space like, fuck it, we out.
Yeah.
We just go ball, whatever we do. Sometimes I take the shit back. You know what I'm saying? Like, you went crazy. Yeah, you went crazy. But most of the time we just go have fun, bro. It just keep me sane. And I just recently found out it's a term for this shit. It's called inspirational shopping. So I'm like, oh shit, as a creative, I needed inspirational shopping to help me think about the next things I'm doing. But I know somebody that was telling me in California, they get paid to do inspirational shopping for a certain artist. And they get like a certain budget, it'd be like $3 million or something like that. And they'll go all over the world and get all the shit and bring it back. And that person gets inspiration from that. So I'm like, oh shit, that's what I'd be doing. Most of the time I'd just be shopping for inspiration. I go right before the studio, I do stuff and never knew what to call it. But when they took the receipts to the accountant, it was inspirational shopping. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, okay, I got you. That's my new shit now.
That's hard.
You know what I mean?
So the second one is, how are you building wealth for your future? What are you doing? A lot of people, we think about the money side, but really wealth, building that wealth for your legacy.
Network. So everybody thinks wealth is built on money most of the time. It's just controlling the money. Mine is basically my network. If I can give enough opportunities in the world, and I'm not wishing for it to come back, but I put enough opportunities in the world that if I ever need something, my olive branch or my network will help me stay afloat, period, in any situation. And that's how I do right by people. I like try to get as many people put on and try to put people in so many positions to make money, because you know, me and Drum say all the time, we have a passion for people blowing up. You know what I'm saying? So if I can put that out there and just always have my network, I'm cool. I know a bunch of people that don't have a lot of money, they have a solid network that they don't need it. They always gonna be able to have a roof over their head. They always gonna have family members. They always gonna have certain pieces that keep them, you know, Pharrell's clothing line is wealth is in the heart and not in the pocket. You know what I'm saying? The wealth is of the mind and not in the pocket. That's what Billionaires Boys Club was built on. So that's how I think about it. I think about, how much I'm putting out there as a network. Like, it don't have to be money in your pocket. I can just tell you where you can shoot your podcast. It's going to give you 2 million views on that day. You know, that's going to live with you forever. You're going to be like, man, Don, I remember Don said blah, blah, blah. And even if you don't kick it back, it's cool. It's just putting it out there in the world that
it's going to come back somewhere.
You do right by people that, like
hopefully.
you said, the energy comes back.
Yeah,
Even if they don't pay it back, the energy always comes
everybody don't appreciate it, but I'm not there for their appreciation. I'm just there as in, my legacy. I want to be able to give out as much energy for a step for somebody as possible. And that's how I'm gonna stay wealthy in my life, I think. Yeah.
Okay, my last one. Do you have life insurance?
No, but it's funny you said that. My mom just called me the other day and was like, yo, there's some pretty good rates on life insurance. And I was asking her, I was like, yo, give me some breakdowns because, my whole thing was insurance is like, they scare you. You know what I mean? It's like, what if something happens? That's an erratic way to invest or an erratic way to put money towards something.
Factor.
It's a fear factor. I never want to invest because I'm fearful. And that's why I never got life insurance. You know what I mean? And life is unpredictable. You never know what's going to happen. But she just called me the other day like, yo, you should really just do some studying on it, look at it, and see what it's about. Some really good rates. Some people can do it where they can pull money from it in an emergency. That's one thing I haven't gotten to is life insurance and trust funds. Really, I'm starting to learn the trust fund thing too. It's just those things. Again, being oppressed. Like when you make a certain amount of money, as a people, we always want to have enough cash on hand for emergencies. And then and the other side, they don't have any cash. You know what I'm saying? Like, most white people don't have any cash. They invest everything. Us, we black, like, man, what if I need 50 grand real quick to do? Like,
liquidate your investments if need be, but
see what I'm saying?
You'd rather have it in cash.
We got to see it. It's got to be in the account so you can be like, I'm good. You know what I mean? So, I'm starting to get into it now. I'm gonna study it, but again, insurance is still, it plays on the fear. So I'm just kind of like,
it's definitely an uncomfortable conversation for most. Like, I get it with life insurance because it's like, I know the first time I had bought life insurance for myself, I was like, it sent me down a dark place. I'm like, damn, bro, what if I really die? Like, I'm 20 years old. What if I die tomorrow? Like, just thinking about it all. But I definitely think it's still one of those things for our community. It is important to have.
Word.
Just on the in case, because I mean, like everybody's situation is different financially. I know, like for somebody like you don't like to accrue debts. You make sure you pay your stuff off. But one of the major benefits that one of our financial advisor friends, Wes, had taught us was like using life insurance to pay off your debts. And then another one, the strategy Chris taught us, buy, borrow, die, was just like you get life insurance to cover the cost of all the assets that you have. And then whenever you die, your life insurance pays the assets off so that you can pass it down to your kids.
So that's one thing she was telling me about. It's crazy because I thought when you die, it's just whatever. You still have to pay shit when you dead. I didn't know that. So I'm like,
when you die.
It's like, yo, you get this just in case. House and everything will be paid off and you don't leave that debt to, your wife or your kids and stuff. I'm like, damn, they make you pay that shit when you die? Holy shit.
Uncle Sam grimy.
So that's like that part makes sense. So they don't burden the the penalties or whatever. So,
and another thing with life insurance, a lot of times, whenever people do talk about life insurance, it really should be called death insurance because that's what people are referring to it
there
as.
You go.
But there are policies that you can activate and use while you're living. Another one of the things that I think it was Corey actually, he was teaching us. He's like, there's a policy that if you get sick you can tap into this money and they'll pay for your
the living benefit.
the living benefit.
Policy.
They'll pay for your hospital bills, your doctor bills. If you're missing time away from work, you can tap into some of those things. So I always ask that question because once again, being Black Wealth Renaissance, I want our community to know that these are things that we don't talk about, but I feel like we all should just really tap into and have access to.
That's a fact. I want to get over the hump because, you know, there's been times where I had car insurance and I might have crashed back in the day and I had to go through a whole bunch of fucking hula hoops to get, you know, my money or just anything. I might have lost a piece of jewelry and I had to just do all this shit. And it's like, bro, I'm paying y'all $2,000 a month and I got to wait 3 months to get my bread.
Yeah.
So
Man.
I had to get over that hump with life insurance thinking it's the same thing before I get in a space where I'm like, okay, I'm fully ready to go ahead and just put in, you know, more than likely, just being ahead of the game and just kind of be a part of that, I may just jump into it just cause. But again,
just find you the right agent.
Yeah.
Find you the right agent,
Yeah.
the person you feel comfortable with. Like your mom said, bro, just do your research and figure out what you're most comfortable with.
Yeah, I'm on that. I appreciate that.
No problem.
Sure.
Well, Don, bro, again, gotta say thank you so much for coming
No
out
doubt,
to
bro. I
Dallas.
appreciate y'all.
Giving us your story, man, letting us learn more about tomorrow, the great things you're doing over there. And really, man, just thank you for coming out. So,
And speaking of tomorrow, let them know where they can download it at.
Yep.
Let them know where they can follow you, tap into everything that you got going on as well.
Okay, Tomorrow app is in the App Store, TMRO app. You can download it. Make sure you sign up, set up your portfolio. Man, for all the labels, again, all the label execs out there, get on there. There's tons of creatives out there waiting to work with you. They're talented as hell. Creatives, get on there. And one thing I left out, too, about the app, it helps you get paid. You know what I mean? A lot of people, you might find a creative in a DM and not get paid right away or just got to chase your money down.
PayPal and Cash App and that shit.
This is a way to get paid and security paid. So once that job is done, you kick pay, the money goes right into your account, and you gotta do a bunch of chasing. But make sure you get on there, man. I'm always on there looking for creatives. I'm about to set up a gig. A friend of mine wants me to mix a record. I'm about to get an engineer to mix the record on through the app. And just stay in that presence of the app, man. You always gonna find something on there, like, you know, that you're gonna need. And you know, not for nothing, you ain't gotta go through a bunch of social, you know, bullshit to get what you need to get.
Business in the DMs ain't it, man.
Bro, you know what I'm saying? So make sure you do that, man. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that shit is Don Cannon across the board. And that's it, man.
For sure, man.
Hey, look, I'm gonna put it in the camera. This is what it look like.
Oh, I already got it on the phone, man. We gonna have to put it on the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it
Y'all
is.
download that.
There it is.
Download that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Well, Don, again, thank you, my brother. So
No
we're
doubt.
going to hop into a couple house cleaning items before we get up out of here. As always, y'all, thank you for tuning into the Black Wealth Renaissance
Yes, sir.
Podcast.
Yes, sir.
Y'all make sure y'all leave y'all boys that 5-star rating and
I
review.
need it.
There you go.
We need that. Don't be no whole ass nigga. We done told y'all
Yeah,
last time.
y'all.
BWR.
Once we call y'all some whole ass niggas, y'all left the review. So I guess y'all must like that shit or something.
Like, we have to insult y'all for y'all to come on and actually do something.
And we don't want to
Real
do that
shit.
because we love y'all. We care about y'all.
Real
So
shit. Real
yeah.
Like, we got one dude told us he paid off like 75% of his debt, fixed his credit score, like just off listening to the pod, got his first investment property. It's a lot of valuable information that we share on the show. We just want to make sure that we helping y'all benefit and y'all helping others by
Sharing it,
rating and reviewing.
Yeah, get the 5 stars, man. We got to pay bills too. You feel me?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Telling you.
Tap into Stack Summer. So this summer we focusing on our health, our wealth, and just really getting our mind and pockets right while we entering into this time of economic uncertainty. Stack Summer to join. All you have to do is text the word stack to 337-455-7778. And then you'll join our group. It's over 600 other people in there. And we holding people accountable to reach their goals. My personal stack goal for this summer is 5,000. Jalen's is 10. We both, you're a little over halfway there.
Yes, sir.
I'm around halfway there. And we just gonna get to these goals, man. I'm stacking. I'm trying to get my first investment property.
Same here.
There you go.
So look, we here with y'all. We on this journey, so y'all join Stack Summer. Jalen, you got anything else for the people? Man?
Nah, man. Once again, I just want to say thank everybody. But whenever y'all do the Stack Summer, y'all gonna get a link. Make sure y'all submit the information in the link so we can keep y'all updated with y'all personal stack goal. We want to make sure that this is personalized for y'all. So appreciate y'all for tapping in, and just kicking it with your boys. Until next time, this is Black Wealth Renaissance signing out.
What's the point of having clout? You can't cash it out.
Yes, sir.